mentors? You know, like obviously, I mean, if you're being sequestered and you're not spending a whole great deal of time with the contestants, it's probably more so with the mentors. But like,
sure.
What? You know, as much as you can say, obviously, what can you share about each of them individually? You know, how they are as people.
Sure. So obviously, yeah. So again, correct. Like we didn't really get much time with them at all. I mean, really, it was any of the time that we had with them was on the set. But like, there obviously was also a lot of stuff that didn't make it to air. You know, because that's just the way it is. So like, despite that, like that being like, they still kept like engaging with us as much as they could on the set. And like even like Richard Blaze, like he would go up to me, you know, and just like really like there was what he would say for the camera, right? That you knew that he was, and then after that he was done, and you knew the camera was going to pan to someone else, and then he'd be like, "But really, you feel good, right? Like you got like you know, you feel confident with this?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You got any questions?" It's like these quick.
He'd hit you like as a person.
Yeah, like quick few second interactions, but yeah, like even like the. Even like what was it, like the finale, like when I had like the moment with him in the kitchen, like even he went up to me, he's just like, dude, he's like you made it, he's like you really like made it really far, like from like where I came from, like he acknowledged that.
That's cool.
Sadly, I felt that didn't really make it to air and it wasn't really shown, but you know,
I thought it was very clear that Richard Blaze at least like clearly liked you.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You were clearly like one of his favorites.
Yeah, I think.
How were you happy about being on his team? Like, did you want to be on Gordon Ramsay's team, or like were you happy being with Blaze?
I was happy with Blaze. I think everyone under the sun really kind of wanted Gordon Ramsay because obviously he's Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah,
and like,
of course.
and Naisha Arrington, I think like season 1, like though I really enjoyed it, she was more of a hard ass that season, and
she was probably the hardest of them, maybe.
Yeah. I'd say, yeah. And like this season, she was like a little bit more mentor-like, you know. Mm-hmm. And even she, like the first elimination round that I had, like that was the first time that she was like, you know, she got to see me cooking outside of, you know, the teams and the kitchens or whatever. And she even like gave me this look at the end of it that was just like, my dude.
Oh
just,
yeah.
Like she.
Well, that was the thing when you. Towards the end, everyone was like, "Man, this guy's really, you know, going for it."
Yeah.
You know? And she was definitely. I feel like they all were pretty vocal about that at times, or even if they weren't necessarily vocal, like you could kind of see it in their expressions.
For sure.
Which was really cool.
Well, it's just, you know, you were clearly taking risk the entire time, and that was the entire thing. And you know, you did kind of get a reputation of being like a psychopath in the thing because
absolutely.
You were pulling things together. And on Twitter and on the internet, they've basically decided that you were the villain of the show.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, because I have a lot of questions. I don't want to get off the.
No.
What did you learn about, if anything, about Gordon himself?
So the guy is a regular dude. Like he is down to earth when the cameras are off. He's like he's wisecracking just like the three of us. Like he really is. Cool. He is still like he is a line cook in a like celebrity chef's body. Is what I think it is, because like the man has all these shows, so much success. He doesn't have to cook really like at all. The man is so set up now that he doesn't have to.
He's obviously is a chef, but he's a television producer.
Right.
That's what it was.
And he boss.
Right. And he very much could walk away from kitchens altogether and just be personality, and he would still be fine. But he will go out of his way to still like go into the kitchen, get his hands on things, do stuff, because like he truly does love cooking. He really has like a sincere passion for it. I say this all the time, and I stand by it. He is the Michael Jordan, specifically the Michael Jordan of the culinary industry. He's put so much time on the court. He's untouchable.
He's the Michael Jordan, and he's also the Stan Lee, and he's also a bunch of other things.
Bourdain is I don't know, Dennis Rodman.
Who would win in
Dennis Rodman?
Who would win in a cook-off? Wait, does Bourdain cook, or does he just chef?
He does,
What?
Does he?
I mean,
I've never watched Parts Unknown. I don't know.
He came up. He didn't towards towards the end of his life, but he came up, of course, as a coach.
Oh,
Yeah,
As
his
Oh
whole
yeah, I guess I did.
his whole effects, like Gordon Ramsay and Bourdain have two different effects in the industry for cooks. Like Bourdain was like the think of it like the blue collar man's champion. Like he was the guy that like was like, and so did Gordon Ramsay. But I think what happened was Gordon Ramsay soared into like real television personality sort of like environments, whereas like Bourdain was still very gritty. He was still very like, rugged. The guy still went out into places in the middle of fucking nowhere and like went to someone in like a hut and like greeted them and like tasted their food and like told their story. And that was his kind of like shtick, Whereas Ramsay, his shtick to his rise to the occasion was like the angry Scotsman in the kitchen that tells you that you're an idiot sandwich, like that. You know what I mean? Like
That's funny because that is almost like an American versus like an English way of like looking at things.
Absolutely.
Kinda.
Totally. And and listen, they're both. All of us in the industry still respected both of them, but Bourdain was almost like everyone's uncle when you think about it. Like when he died, like my chef. When he died, my chef pulled us downstairs from the service that we were doing, and he had like
Really?
we were at work in the middle of service. This was at the spot in Brooklyn that I was working at, Golda.
Yeah, I
and he
remember
pulled
that.
us down there and had like shots of vodka poured out in like the little deli containers, and he's like, "I just want to say something because we lost a great man today, who really like touched all of our hearts." And like we all like took a quick shot, and he was like, "All right, well, let's get back to service." And like the ticket machine was still, like going crazy.
It's surprising and it's not surprising of just like how much food affects people.
Yeah.
I've said this before, because obviously like this podcast is mostly about movies, but I've
Sure.
said before on the show of just like I love when they show food in movies or they use food to express something in movies.
Absolutely.
Like I always like you characterize somebody by what they eat, how they eat it.
Right.
You've seen Pulp Fiction. Everybody's
course.
seen Pulp Fiction. How do they show that Samuel L. Jackson's character is powerful? Samuel L. Jackson takes a hamburger
from someone else.
someone else's hamburger, bites it in front of him,
Yeah.
gives it back to him, and then goes, as adding insult to injury, goes, "That was a tasty burger."
Yeah.
Using food. Martin Scorsese is famous for this. Martin Scorsese uses food to, bring people together.
Sure.
But it's just,
But also even like
that's something like in the television and in the movie world of just like people in real life are eating and people in real life do use their food to express themselves. And it's always great to see like a director or a filmmaker using that in their movies, because
Absolutely.
food is a form of expression, and it doesn't surprise me at all that like these celebrity chefs really like mean a lot to people. The
course.
I'll never
food you
forget
make
when-
means something to someone.
When
Yeah.
Bourdain died, you texted me. I was
Yeah.
driving. I was working for a catering company at the time, and I literally pulled, the car over, and I got out
Had
of
a
my
moment.
car. Yeah, absolutely. I got emotional, man, because he was, he meant a lot to me. I had like one interaction with him once, not in person, but it was
Oh,
like
but-
it was
Yeah.
fucking, one of the. I was young when it happened, and it's forever gonna be like one of the coolest things that I was ever a part of, just because I'm like, damn, that's fucking